Again, my name is Tom Stack, and I work in Montgomery County, Maryland, which is about a half hour from here, just outside the suburbs of Washington, D.C., if anybody's familiar with it. If anybody remembers the D.C. sniper, that was in Montgomery County. I've been in the vice section for the last 11 years, and one of the investigations that's kind of near and dear to my heart is sex trafficking of minors, juvenile prostitution. And I just recently got on the FBI task force to combat the Innocence Lost Project to combat juvenile prostitution. So I'm going to try and cram about an hour and a half presentation into about 20 minutes. And so bear with me, please. Prostitution is a terrible life. In itself, prostitution is a terrible life. What people don't realize, and most of America believes, that prostitution is Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. It's Snoop Dogg, and it's Huggy Bear as a pimp. That's not reality. And I'll go over some of the statistics real quick before I get into some of the internet stuff that shows you that prostitution is not a victimless crime, despite what most of America believes, that prostitution is a victimless crime. It is not. Prostitution is a terrible life. Now just imagine being 13 years old and being a prostitute. Before I get started, I just want to explain a little bit how we treat prostitution in Montgomery County as far as human trafficking goes. We treat every girl as a victim first. Victim first. Whether they're 13 years old or they're 31 years old, you're a victim first. And just the other day, I got a girl in a sting, and she was 22 years old, and she told me that she needed help, and she wanted help. I said, I will get you the help. I've made plenty of arrests in my life. I don't need any more arrests. I'd rather more satisfaction to me to get you off the street and get you the help that you need so that you can go on with your life and be a productive member of society and raise a family. And that is our goal. Okay, so we treat everybody as a victim first. This is a public service announcement that's put out by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I know that NCMEC has been mentioned several times. NCMEC is a phenomenal organization. I don't know if there's anybody here from NCMEC or if anybody's worked with them. Work with them. They're great. They're true champions of children's rights. They do everything to help you. Whether you're a chief of police or just a lowly detective like myself, they'll help everybody. The average age of a child entering into prostitution is 13 years old. Okay, and we have come across 13-year-old victims. They're out there. That's the average age. 85%, in this study here, 85% of prostitutes admit that they were sexually abused as children. Now, I interviewed just about every single girl I come in contact with. And my personal feelings, my personal findings, I should say, on that is it's about 90 to 95% of every girl that I've come in contact with, and I ask them that question, how was your childhood? Were you abused? It's a yes. Whether it was a football coach or a piano teacher or an uncle or who knows what, it happens. It's there all the time. The average life expectancy of a prostitute is 7 years. And that is not until they decide they want to go work at McDonald's. Okay, that is until they are dead. Okay, that is until they die. And homicide is the #1 cause of death. 80% of women in prostitution admit to being raped, and they get raped on an average of 8 to 10 times a year. And most people think that prostitutes can't be raped. That's not true. They're violent attacks that happen 8 to 10 times a year. And you can imagine the trauma that goes on with these girls every single day. And I ask them that question as well. I said, when's the last time you caught a bad date? And I treat all these girls, I treat them with respect and dignity because that's how you get them to talk to you. Because you know what? They're people just like we are. And you have to treat them like that. So when you talk to these girls, they'll tell you, yeah, I caught a bad date 2 weeks ago. And I ask them what happened, and they'll explain what happened. And they're violent attacks. 85% are raped by their pimps. Who are these girls? Most people think that these girls have got to come from low-income neighborhoods. Okay? That's not the case. It doesn't matter. Black, white, Hispanic, Native American, Asian, rich or poor. I had a 16-year-old prostitute that we recovered off the street. Actually, not off the street. It was off an internet sting. 16 years old. Both her parents were attorneys. She lived in Potomac, Maryland, one of the most affluential neighborhoods in the entire country. And she was in the International Baccalaureate program at our public schools. Okay, she was a brilliant, brilliant kid, but she was sexually abused as a child. And next thing you know, she's in prostitution. Who are these kids? That's who they are. But one thing they all have in common, they're easily recruited. They're all children with low self-esteem. They're runaway kids, throwaway kids. Parents can't deal with them anymore. So what's their answer? Kick them out of the house. Who's waiting for them? Mr. Pimp. Be more than glad to bring them in. Sexually abused, physically abused children, rebellious kids. These are the recruiting grounds. These are where pimps are going all the time to go out and look for kids. Bus stations, train stations, metro stations, places where runaways are going to go and congregate. They have no place else to go. Recovered a 16-year-old girl from Virginia, was picked up at a metro station. Shelters, concert halls, shopping malls. Pimps go in a shopping mall on a day like today, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and sees a 14-year-old girl standing there. Where should that kid be? In school, absolutely. And the pimps know that. And the pimps know that, and they're going to go there and they're going to try their pretty eye trick. Okay? Just like Janice said. And I've actually was going to use that because I'm familiar with that trick as well, but that's what pimps do. The new one, the social networking sites. Okay? It's like fishing. Okay? A pimp can go to the shopping mall and he can cast 1 or 2 lines in the water. And he can go on the internet and he can cast 1,000. He can cast 1,000 lines a day. And they're out there, and a lot of these kids have their sites are open, so you can actually go in there and read about them, what they like, what they dislike, what they do, how many friends they have. And the pimps can see, they can pick out the kids with low self-esteem. And that's what they're going, and they're going to hit it. I actually did a case where I recovered a girl, a 21-year-old girl who was being abused by her pimp. Took her off the street. I got a warrant for the pimp. I knew the pimp had a Facebook. I have a Facebook also, an undercover Facebook where I'm a 16-year-old girl. And I sent him a friend's request. And, of course, he took it. And I waited about 2 months. And because I didn't want to hit him up right away. He might get suspicious. So one day he made a comment about he was having a disagreement with his baby's mama, as he said. And so I sent him a message, and we started going back and forth. And I acted like I was upset with being home. I wanted to run away, but I had no place to go. And he was right there for me. He promised me $200,000 a year. He promised me trips to California, trips to Hawaii. He said it was sexual escorting. It's not as bad as you thought it was going to be. And he goes on and on and on. And so we kept building the case and building the case. And then he wanted to talk to me. Now, I could be the prettiest girl on the internet, okay? But when it comes time to talking, I just don't cut that. So we had a female officer came in and talked to him on the phone, and she's like, is it okay that I'm only 16? And he's like, oh, yeah, as long as you look at least 18, we'll be okay, because we can get in big trouble if we get caught. Well, no duh, okay? So he wants to meet her and try her out, to see if she's any good before he puts her on the street. Well, they agreed to meet at a shopping mall in Montgomery County. And there was no 16-year-old girl there. It was me and about 4 of my buddies. And we ended up arresting him, and he pled guilty, and he got a 3-year prison sentence for it. But it's out there. Be aware of it. It's out there. Pimps are master manipulators. These guys are so smart. They're so smooth. Okay? Pimps are not, what bugs me was Rolling Stones called Snoop Dogg America's favorite pimp. What they should have said is Snoop Dogg America's favorite human trafficker is what they should have put on there. Okay? These guys are sharp, they're smooth, they're slick. And I've heard them talk. I heard them talk even when I listen to their jail calls. And they're still talking. They're still what they call spitting game. They're still talking the talk. So what they do is they pray. They know, emotionally weak. They go after these girls. They treat them like they're special. They shower them with affection. Say that their eyes sparkle like diamonds, that their hair is made of silk. You're gorgeous. And these girls aren't used to that. They'll pick a girl in the mall and say how beautiful she is, and the girl's like, wow, all the girls in this mall, and he picked me. I'm special. And the pimp's going to keep treating her like she's special. Keep treating her. And then he's going to give her what she needs. She's a runaway. Most likely she's a runaway. Food, shelter, affection. Promise. Then they go into the empty promises. We're going to go on shopping sprees. We're going to go out every day and spend money. We're going to California. We're going to Disneyland. Just wait till the new apartment. We're going to get a new apartment. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be, high-rise condo. we're going to live the life. And it's selling the dream is what they do, is they sell these girls a dream. And dreams don't come true. Trust me, I dream about winning the lottery just about every other night, and I'm still here, okay? All right? It's a dream. That's all it is a dream. The false and empty promises, the new car, the expensive jewelry, it goes on and on and on. These girls commonly fall in love with these pimps. The bond between a pimp and a prostitute is so incredibly strong. To try and break that is nearly impossible. It's very, very difficult to break. Once they get these girls in their clutches, they're going to exercise both physical and psychological dominance over their girls. And I call it the way I see it is like a two-hand or two-prong attack, okay? This one here is going to be their loving hand. And this is the one that's going to say, baby, I love you, you're beautiful. It's going to be me and you forever, together. We're going to go to Cali, we're going to go to Disneyland, we're going everywhere, okay? And then this is the one over here that says, bitch, get your ass out on the street, excuse my language, get on the street and make me my money. Get me my money. And if this is the one that disrespects them or doesn't make the $1,000, okay, this is the hand that beats them, burns them with the cigarettes, or whips them with the coat hanger. But this is the one that comes back and says, baby, I do that because I love you, and I need you, and we want to have this great life together. So this is the one that goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And a lot of people refer to it as the Stockholm Syndrome, where they commonly fall in love with their captor. Pimps, and Janice hit the nail right on the head, are motivated by their pursuit of money. And they don't care who they hurt or how many times they hurt the person to get their money. Learn helplessness. And that's what it is. That's what these girls fall into. Because most people think, why don't you just walk away? And the pimp's not looking, leave, run away. Well, it's not that easy. They rely on their pimps so hard for food, shelter, affection. And strongest of all is a sense of want. Everybody wants to be wanted. It's human nature. Okay? And these girls want to be wanted so bad. Okay? They weren't wanted in their households. Their families kicked them out. They abused them. And that's one of the strongest things, that sense of want. This is a letter that I took off a 18-year-old. Remember, this girl's 18 years old. She's from California. She comes over to Maryland to prostitute. And I took this letter off of her, and I'll just read it to you real quick. So let's see, I've run away numerous times and always came back. I should just give up and accept my life as his hoe, which is a prostitute. I just want my own freedom. I do love him, but I really believe he uses my emotions and weaknesses to manipulate me. Well, I also believe he cares, if only a little or for whatever reason. We've been on this road trip for exactly 2 weeks now, and I've been getting a G, which is $1,000 a day, not to mention the other day, the 15th, I made $2,300. He has to be satisfied with me, even though I keep running away. I've been trying hard to get good money and not let anything stop me from getting that dough, to prove him wrong and make him proud. I really just need to give up on having a life. He promised me a new car and apartment. I'm so confused. I don't want to waste my time. I pray to God that this works, but shit like this never does. Okay, 18 years old, twice in this letter, in this 3-page little letter that she wrote on Father's Day. I don't know if anybody saw that. She wrote on Father's Day, she says she's going to give up her life and accept his life basically as his slave. But she does admit that she has, that he's using the emotions and weaknesses to manipulate her. She knows that, and that's a fact. And this girl swore up and down to me that she didn't have a pimp. Trying to identify the victims, that's our goal. We're very proactive in our investigations, and we're going out. I want to get the pimps. I don't want to get the girls. I want to get the pimps. To get the pimps, sometimes we have to get the girls to get to the pimps. So what we do is we work with the FBI, and we share information, and sharing information is vital. We work with National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I often go on their website, which is this missingkids.com, and I'll click on the females missing within the last year, because I don't go 2 years back because I've already seen them all. And they'll bring up this site right here, and these are all missing person posters of girls who have run away. And here's one for instance, and what I'll do is I'll print these out and I'll keep them on my desk, because when I'm surfing the internet. Now, in Montgomery County, we don't have an area where prostitution is on the street. Everything we have is on the internet. Okay? The internet is what my sergeant calls it, the modern day track. And I'll give him credit because he coined that phrase, and it is dead on. It's the modern day track. The girls are coming off the street and onto the internet because they can make more money. And plus, it's easier to hide children. And I'll explain that in a second. So what I'll do is I'll print this out, and as I'm cruising through the internet, I'll pull prostitution ads up and look at them. And this is just one of the ads here. Now, I swore dead, everybody in my office swore that this was the same girl. And I sent this down to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and they did a facial recognition on it, and they found, they looked at it and they said, well, it's not the same girl. But it's young enough that we're going to go out and try and find this girl anyway, because that's our theory. My theory is it might be, it's either definite or a maybe. And if it's only a maybe, I'm still going to go and try and find this kid. We go on Backpage.com just about every day looking for girls. We search keyword searches, the word young, fresh, or 18 to 22, the word minor. We've got one off the word minor, new, or high school. Most girls in high school are not 18 yet. I know there's some that are, but most of them aren't. But sometimes you'll see an advertisement for a high school girl, still in high school. As a matter of fact, the 16-year-old girl that I talked about from the IB program, she was advertising as a high school girl, and she was 16. This is Backpage. This is what you're going to see. These are all prostitution ads, and they all have the word young in them, because I type in the search word young. I got 3 minutes, so I got to speed it up. Again, how old is that girl there? Okay, this is why pimps are going online, because you can't hide that girl right there. That girl, that girl could be 15 years old or she could be 25. You can't tell. Because the pimp, you put a girl on the street who's 14 years old, you can't hide the fact she's 14. You put her on the internet, and then there you go. Same thing with this picture here. This girl here, this is I hit off the word minor. It says up here, fellas, do not pursue this girl. She's a 14-year-old runaway from home. Okay? Worked this case with Prince George's County. This girl is not in our county. We found this ad right here on Craigslist. Okay? We went and did a sting, and this girl wasn't 14. She was 13 years old. Okay? This girl here was being victimized and put in one of the worst hotels I've ever been in, and that's a picture of her right there. Okay? That girl was being exploited, and we got her off the street and got her the help that she needs. We look at the pictures. We look at more than just the girls, okay? We look at the girls for body fat, underdeveloped, or young in appearance. We also look at the big picture, the background. This girl here just looks young in general. So we'll target this girl here. This picture here, did anybody see anything in that picture real quick that would indicate that that's a child? The bedspread and the heart. Okay, that's what we're looking for. We also searched the erotic review, where the Johns go. And Janice hinted on this real quick about the Johns going and going out there and posting stuff. And you can find whatever you want. And we go on there and read it. As law enforcement, I go on there, and I use this to my benefit. And I'll go on here and read something like this. It says, really cute. I almost wanted to check her ID to make sure she wasn't an effing minor. She looks so young. That's an indicator to me, okay, that that's a kid, and I'm going to go find that kid and try and get her off the street. So that guy making this post actually helped me do my job a little bit better. There's another public service announcement. I know I went really quick. This PSA pretty much sums it up. This year, his charm will lure 10 kids into prostitution, and his fists are going to keep them there. Okay, there's my contact information. If anybody ever needs to email me or call me with any questions. Like I said, it was an hour-and-a-half presentation. I slammed into 20 minutes, so I did the best I could. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys. You guys, this is an awesome conference. I'm very impressed. I've sat back for a couple of the speakers, and I'm very impressed at what's going on. Education, spread the word. That's my message to you guys. It's like the old shampoo commercial. If you tell two friends and they tell two friends, and so on, the word's going to get out there, and we can get these kids off the street and get them the help they need. There's going to be, I think, another speaker, and then I'm going to stick around for the break. And then if anybody has any questions, they feel free to come up and talk to me on the break. Okay? Thank you.